Bread!
Hi, welcome to Baking with the Bragers. Today we're making homemade bread. The easy way.
I love bread.
This bread is so easy that I'm not even sure I have enough content to make a decent video.
You know what? It doesn't get more simple than bread. Bread is the bread of life, like literally.
Yeah, it's easy to do this, like so easy. So if you haven't already, get yourself a scale because it just makes it so easy. I measured out 38 ounces of flour. This is going to make 2 round loaves. Like these are perfect size. I have 2 cast iron Dutch ovens from Le Creuset. And they don't have to be from Le Creuset, but the cast irons create a little self-contained oven, which makes for a very crusty bread. So
everyone knows the crust is the best part too. So
and
muy
now
importante.
you can get Dutch ovens, like cast iron enameled Dutch ovens that aren't Le Creuset for very inexpensive, and I use them every single day. And so this is just really, really easy. As you can see, I threw everything into my mixer.
Everything.
Yep. This is, it's really flour, water, salt, and yeast.
Man, it doesn't get any simpler than that.
Nope. And I didn't do anything special. I just threw it all in. And then it goes into my mixer on medium speed I think I went for 10 minutes.
It's a long time.
It is a long time. You can kind of hear my mixer whine about it a little bit or start to get a little warm.
It's like, bread again. Why are you doing this to me?
So, yeah, I did use water that was a little bit warm. I added a touch more, but the 22 ounces is with that included. So 22 ounces of water, 38 ounces of flour, and then salt and yeast, and you're good to go. And what I'm doing right now is activating that gluten and making sure that I get to like a window pane consistency. I'm gonna, in a little while, once it's done mixing, I'm gonna grab a little bit off and I'm gonna pull it apart and see if it just tears apart, then it's not quite ready. If it starts to look stretchy where you can see through it a little bit, although mine never quite gets to the full window pane look. But that's what I'm looking for. And see how pretty it is? It's just like, it comes together. It's a really smooth dough, really soft, really pliable. And this is what it looks like. My mixer parts of it kind of look like it wants to come out of the bowl, and then it folds over and just mixes like this for a while.
Yeah, it's like a whole hour of this, right?
Yeah.
We're going to be watching?
Yeah.
You know, speaking of gluten, activating it and all that kind of stuff, we do have a very special guest with us right now. Rachel?
Hello.
How do you feel about gluten being activated?
It's not very good for me, I guess.
Why not, Rachel?
Because I'm gluten-free.
Oh, you are gluten-free.
Yep.
We still love you, just not as much as the other kids.
No bread for Rachel.
I'm just kidding.
We love Rachel.
Yeah, she's the best.
So I slowed the video down so you could actually see this is how slow the mixer is actually mixing my bread. I had sped it up so that it would go a little faster, but
It's kind of fun to watch it, you know?
it is. It's a little mesmerizing.
Yeah, not anymore. It stopped.
Yeah, because I'm at the part where I'm going to take out the dough hook, and you'll see that I just some people take the dough out and they put it in another container and they put oil on it and they do all this special stuff. And you know me, I am very why use another container when I can use my KitchenAid mixing bowl? So I put a little bit of oil on it. I do lift it up to kind of get it underneath.
Yeah.
Because that's, I don't want it to get crusty while it's proofing.
Oh, yeah, gross.
Right. If you don't have an oven that has a proof setting. The lowest temp on your oven is probably too warm. And the lowest temp on mine is the proof setting, and it's 100 degrees. So if you don't have that setting, don't stick it in your oven. You could turn on your oven for a second and then shut it off and stick it in, but you just have to be really careful. Just find a warm spot for it. And you're gonna wait until it's at least double in size, and you can see that it's done proofing. I pulled it back out of the oven, and then I grabbed some rosemary that I had in my garden.
What? I didn't know we had that.
Well, it's cool because that's all we have. It's really cold here in Missouri now, and I still have rosemary outside. Nothing else, no tomatoes, no, everything else has gotten way too cold. No basil, but rosemary will keep growing, and it feels wintry to me.
Way to go, rosemary, for being a resilient plant. You know?
I said that this makes 2 loaves, and the reason why I like that it makes 2 loaves is because I have kids who won't touch the one that has the rosemary in it, which is silly because it just adds like a hint of flavor. So I'm kneading in the rosemary that I chopped up to one of the loaves, and the other loaf will be plain. So they both taste fabulous.
So the good thing about rosemary is it's a good kid deterrent. Because if you make things that kids like all the time, all that happens is they just end up eating your stuff. But if you put rosemary in it and you know they don't like it, it's like, well, this bread's my bread. And I'm going to eat it and nobody's going to mess with it.
This is true.
Me, when I eat gluten-free stuff and y'all can't, and y'all don't want to eat it.
This is true. Rachel gets a lot of her own things. So I'm trying to just roll it into a tight ball, and
ooh, the bread basket.
Yeah, this is called a banatone. I forgot the name of it. Anyway, it didn't end up helping me. I thought it would make the really cool lines, but I didn't end up being able to see the pretty lines. So I thought I would show you that way and the traditional way that I make it, just by adding some parchment to my cast iron Dutch oven. I have a round Dutch oven, that's what it's called. I know it's confusing because it doesn't look like an oven or what we would call an oven, but it does look like a round Dutch oven. And I put a little bit of olive oil in there. Oh, this is the part where we discussed Italian olive oil and Spanish olive oil. When I was at Costco yesterday, they had smaller bottles of Italian olive oil and larger bottles of Spanish olive oil, and they were both the same price. So the Italian olive oil was more expensive. So I thought we would get both and do a little taste test. And what did we decide?
We did taste them both. The Spanish olive oil, not a whole lot of taste to it, but it seemed like very, very smooth.
Yeah.
Whereas the Italian had kind of a earthy aftertaste.
A little bit, a touch bitter, but more flavorful. Like, I was okay with it being more olivey.
So that one was your favorite one then?
A little peppery.
I don't know. I'm with
peppery.
Spain. I think they did a great job. Smooth is how I like my olive oil.
Well, I used the Italian olive oil. I used the Italian olive oil. Just thought it had a little more flavor. So, anyway, I put olive oil in the and I also wanted to show what it looks like if you don't use parchment in the. Now you're writing your name
with a knife.
I'm scoring it so that but the dough is really soft, so I have to be really careful when I'm scoring it that I don't go too deep, but I also want to cut through. So I maybe spent a little too much time cutting it.
Kind of cool,
I was going really slow. And then I take my knobs off because it's going to go into a 450 degree oven for 30 minutes, and then you take the lids off and turn the oven down to 375 and just go until the internal temperature reaches 200 degrees.
That's a lot of degrees.
Mm-hmm. But it's delicious. It's super crusty and...
Le crust.
Yes. a little messy because when the kids eat, they make some messes. Lots of crumbs everywhere.
Punk.
But we love it. Enjoy baking bread.
Thanks for baking with the Braziers.